Hi beautiful souls, welcome to my channel Elle's Temple. My name is Elle, I'm a goddess guide and intuitive tarot reader. Welcome back to my returning viewers. Welcome if you're new here. I'm so happy to have you all here. I hope you guys are all doing well wherever you are in the world. So today's reading is going to be all about your psychic or intuitive powers, and this reading is going to have an extended reading today. So the first portion of the reading here on YouTube will be taking a look at what those powers are and how they may play out in your life. And then for the second portion of the reading, which will be over on my Patreon as part of my Earth Empress tier. So if you're signed up to my Patreon, whether you're part of the Earth Empress tier or the High Priestess tier, you will get access to this reading. So either tier, you get access to all the readings from the Earth Empress tier. And this extended reading, we're going to be taking a look at how you can step more fully into those powers, how you can activate them. If these are things that you haven't had the confidence or haven't felt fully activated in them yet, you sense that you may have these powers, you sense that they are there within you, but you haven't fully stepped into using them in your life. So we'll be taking a look at how you can step more fully into them, and also how you can heal any blocks as well that may be blocking you from fully using those powers in your life. So as I say, that part of the reading is going to be over on my Patreon, and it will be available to anyone who's already a member. And if you sign up, I'm still offering a 7-day free trial. So if you sign up today, you have 7 days to check out all the readings on my Patreon. You get access to this one, as well as I've got about 30 other readings there on my Patreon. And I upload one very in-depth goddess reading and pathworking content once a month on both tiers. So check that out if you feel called to dive a little bit deeper and receive the second part of the reading. So to introduce each of the piles, for pile number 1, if you are drawn to the Babylonian goddess of healing, goddess Gula, card number 18, you will be pile number 1. Or for those of you who like to choose with crystals, if you are drawn to this green fluorite crystal, you'll be pile number 1, and the timestamps will be in the description box below as always. And if you are drawn to goddess Athena, Greek goddess of wisdom and knowledge, card number 5, you will be pile number 2. Or if you are drawn to this iridescent hematite, you're pile number 2. And last but not least, if you are drawn to the Norse goddess Skuld with the future, goddess of the future, card number 46, you'll be pile number 3. Or if you're drawn to the blue agate crystal here, blue banded agate. Okay, my love, so pause the video if you need a little bit more time to choose which pile is drawing you in. It may well be with this reading that more than one pile is calling to you, because you may well have more than one psychic or intuitive power that may play out in your life in different ways. So just trust your intuition, see which piles or piles are drawing you in. Just take what resonates and leave the rest. Okay, my loves, I will see you in your pile. Hi, pile number 1. If you chose goddess Gula or the fluorite crystal, this will be your reading on your psychic or intuitive powers. So in case you missed the intro, just to let you know, this reading is in 2 parts. The first part of the reading here on YouTube, we're going to be taking a look at what your powers are, what these psychic and intuitive powers are, and how they're playing out in your life. And in the second part of the reading, if you feel called to go a little bit deeper, over on my Patreon in the Earth Empress tier, will be a reading where we'll go dive a bit deeper and take a look at how you can step more fully into these powers, and look at healing any blocks that may be preventing you from stepping into those powers more fully. So let's get into, first of all, I haven't pre-pulled any oracle cards for this. I'm going to just be live shuffling, but I want to start with some channel messages that are coming through with this goddess Gula card. So straight off the bat, if you felt drawn to this card, I feel like predominantly your psychic and intuitive powers relate to healing, the process of healing. So it could be, particularly as goddess Gula is the goddess of medicine and healing, this could relate to healing the body, healing holistic healing, medical healing in some way, being a kind of like medical medium, or like just being very intuitive with how to heal other people, how to heal things in them related to like their body, their health, their well-being. It could go deeper as well. It could be, you know, for some of you with the snake here, that's a symbol of transformation. You know, snakes shed their skins, so it's that whole energy of like, you know, releasing what no longer serves. Also, fluorite crystal is a crystal of detoxification as well, so there could be something around like, you know, energetic healing, supporting people. You know, like I'm hearing like even using things like medicinal mushrooms or like shamanic techniques or something like that, that like really help people move beyond their limitations, like detox from things that are holding them back or keeping them stuck in like an old paradigm or an old identity, helping them to kind of shed that, to release that, to kind of transform. Yeah, I'm also picking up maybe as well with fluoride and that kind of cleansing, clearing, detoxifying energy. Possibly for some of you, this could look like working with people with addictions, or this could just be a power that you have. You're able to kind of like sense into that type of energy, like where people's, there may be some sort of like toxin in their system, or, you know, this could also look like being like a herbalist as well. I'm just seeing with all the herbs kind of hanging above her head. This could be like being like a herbalist, a herbal healer. Like I said, kind of using things like medicinal mushrooms, or like I'm hearing like low dosing certain, yeah, like certain medicinal mushrooms or psychedelic substances, or creating your own, you know, with this mortar and pestle here, like creating your own medicines, creating your own like remedies, you know, herbal remedies, or holistic remedies, or, you know, using like spices or herbs, or it could be like kind of witchy energy as well. For some of you, you may have had a past life as a witch, or you may identify as a witch, or make a lot of kind of like witchy type healing remedies, things like that, like using plants. Like I'm just kind of seeing with all the green, and also you've got green fluorite as well. Very strong connection with Mother Earth, with plants, with plant medicine, with the power of plants, with the power of the earth, the power of using what we have here on earth to heal, to transform, to release, to let go of toxins, to let go of anything in mind, body, or spirit that is kind of holding, you know, the patient or the person that you're working with back from kind of being able to fully heal, fully step into their, like their original self, their original template kind of thing. So it's like stripping back. It's this idea of like stripping something back, shifting the energy, healing the cellular body. So it's quite deep. I don't necessarily feel like it's kind of just, I feel like it's very holistic. I don't feel like this is necessarily, you know, a power related to someone will come to you with maybe just a headache, and you're kind of like, oh, okay, like take this. And you know, you may have that ability. You may be very just, you know, I'm kind of picking up someone who's maybe like a medical medium. Like who's that guy who, Anthony someone, I think his name is. He's quite famous. He's got lots of books and stuff. And he can like kind of scan, he kind of just gets impressions. Like he'll just walk past someone, or people come to him, and he just can sort of scan and kind of be like, oh, okay, yeah, there might be like cancer in your body, or there's, you know, this is going on, there's a like a medical issue. He can kind of just like sense it, or he gets just like all this information from his guides as to the person's, you know, like medical issues. So you may be able to do that, but I feel like even if that is a power that you have, that for you, it goes a bit deeper in the sense that it's really working on a very holistic level. It's not just kind of looking at it from a medical point of view only, or kind of like just a psychological point of view only, or like sort of disconnecting the body, for example, from the rest of like the spirit and, you know, the energy field and the emotional self and all of that. It's kind of like you work with all of that together and do very deep healing on a very deep level. And that is a power that you have. It is a power that is evolving, is what I'm hearing. So some of you may be in the early stages of working with this, and the more you open up to it and allow it and start like potentially working with people in this way and then receiving feedback, the more kind of confident you'll get to step into this power more. And I just saw 7 on the clock, and 7 is all about spiritual development, spiritual powers, you know, getting to like spiritual evolution, getting, you know, it's the seventh chakra, it's the crown chakra, it's kind of like that process of ascension. So I feel like these talents, these powers are something that are kind of like, they're awakening in you, they're evolving in you, they're yeah, also with the seventh chakra, I'm getting like maybe doing some crown chakra awakening, some crown chakra healing could be very helpful for you. Maybe for some of you, there may be a lack of trust in the information that you're getting. Your crown chakra may be a little bit stagnant is what I'm hearing, or blocked, or there just may be some energy up in your crown chakra that's kind of blocking you from sort of fully receiving and fully drawing down and fully trusting, you know, because that seventh chakra energy is very much connected to our connection to the divine. You know, it kind of goes beyond our own body system, excuse me, and our emotional body and everything, and it's suddenly about that stage of surrender with the divine and being able to trust the divine and feel that the universe has our back, and that the information we're getting, the guidance that we're getting, you know, is can be trusted, essentially. So that for some of you, there may be something around just, yeah, opening your crown chakra or healing your crown chakra, reactivating your crown chakra so that you can really trust these, like the wisdom, the healing wisdom that you get from the divine. Because I kind of get an impression of someone being like it is a bit like a healing medium, in the sense that like you can work with people in whichever way you do, whether it's through like say herbalism, medical mediumship, you know, transformative coaching or counseling, or you know, some sort of holistic guide, some sort of holistic mentoring, or you know, something where you kind of, people come to you and you offer some sort of healing service. So whichever modality that you work in, it's like the more connected you are with the divine, the more you kind of surrender to that connection, the more like the stronger this gift will become, and the more that like you'll start to receive feedback from people who work with you, and you'll get even more confidence to kind of keep going, because it's like you have this power to be able to kind of dispense. You've got a very healing energy, a very healing presence. You also with, I'm just seeing as well with her, her third eye is kind of activated here as well. It's like, or it's highlighted here. She's got this like light beaming out. So I'm kind of also getting an energy of like, yeah, you're just very intuitive naturally about what people need to heal themselves. But it's then just trusting that guidance, that intuition, that wisdom that's coming down from the divine. Like you can fully trust it. You can fully bring that through. There's no need. I'm kind of getting a vibe of someone who's second guessing themselves. Like they're perhaps telling their client something, and then afterwards they're like, oh, did I say the right thing? Was that okay? And I can understand that in a field like this, because obviously if you are working with health and healing, especially if it is in a more intuitive way, right? Rather than like, you know, being like a doctor or something like that. There's, you know, it requires a lot of surrender. It requires a lot of trust. It requires a lot of, just kind of being open to the divine and trusting that the wisdom you're getting through, you know, you can trust, your clients can trust it. You are meant to do this in some way. Like you do have this gift, this natural ability. You are meant to be a healer. You are meant to work with people in something to do with sort of medicine and healing. But like I said, I don't feel like it could be that for some of you trained in traditional medicine, or even something like nursing or something like that. But I kind of feel like this is more to do with, like I said, something to do with holistic, or working with people in a sort of transformative way, or like with shamanic tools or something like that. But let's get a little bit more energy here. So Spirit, could we get a Witch's card for pile number 1? Can you tell us more about pile 1, psychic and intuitive powers? Whoa, okay, flying out. Mountain, okay, interesting. I'm just getting steep ascension path with this. we've got the number 43, which in numerology reduces to 7. So it, you know, we've got a double message about the number 7 and spiritual ascension, spiritual mastery, the 7th chakra, the crown chakra, that kind of peak chakra. So for some of you, it could be doing chakra healing, detoxing all the chakras, detoxing the energy body, clearing and flushing out. You know, fluorite is about sort of flushing away, creating maybe some sort of, like, I'm hearing like antidotes, like to, yeah, antidotes to kind of toxins that have gotten into their energy system, whether it's through some kind of, you know, substance, that like substance abuse or something, through an addiction, or whether it's through toxins, you know, just like generally as part of their diet or something like that, or toxins through like the environment, EMFs, you know, emotional toxicity that they're holding on to, energetic toxicity they're holding on to. Yeah, but I'm getting with mountain as well, coming back to this card, that this path that you're on to evolving and stepping into your powers, or psychic and intuitive powers, it's a very steep path for you. It's a very steep path of ascension. Some of you may be life path number 9 as well, with 18 here. That reduces to 9. I believe life path 9 is really related to healing. Yeah, I just looked up life path 9 because I was drawing a blank about, I read about this before, but I couldn't remember specifically what life path 9 does. And it says it's about teaching you to let go of the things you've been clinging to, whether material possessions or sentimental memories. It also says it supports rapid evolution of the mind, emotions, and or body. So yeah, that's that healing. And what I was talking about with evolution, you know, ascension, evolving, you know, fluorite, clearing out anything that's stopping evolution, the snake also being symbolic of transformation and evolution. Yeah, helping people to evolve on their spiritual journey, helping people to like strip back anything that's holding them back from their path, from their awakening, from their yeah, from their evolving, essentially. It also says that you're likely someone who enjoys taking care of others. You have a very generous heart and don't enjoy seeing others unhappy. So yeah, I'm kind of, yeah, very humanitarian as well. Very humble. So yeah, I'm getting that definitely from this Gula card. It's a very humble, very sweet, gentle, nurturing energy. I'm kind of getting with the mountain as well. Like maybe some of you lived in, or you might now live somewhere near the mountains. The mountains could be very healing for you. You might sort of feel called to set up like a mountain retreat or a retreat center or healing center somewhere near a mountain. Like mountain air could be very healing for the type of work you do. Teeth, card number 59. The teeth card represents what causes us pain and suffering, and specifically the aches that come from difficult confrontations and clashes, whether internal or with others. Yeah, pain and suffering, I feel like that's something that, like, you know, Gula is looking over here towards the teeth and towards that like energy of tension and pain and suffering. And I feel like that's something that you want to alleviate others of. You have, like I was saying when I was reading out about life path 9, you want to take care of others. You don't enjoy seeing others suffering. You don't enjoy seeing others you know, having pain. You want to help alleviate that. So you have a very healing nature, a nature that wants to support people to get out of the pain they're in, whether it's like emotional pain, like pain from addiction, pain from painful relationships, toxicity, you know, pain in their bodies. Like I'm kind of getting with the teeth and the kind of bone thing and tension, like almost like pain in their bones, pain in their, you know, from like arthritic type pain or something like that. So, you know, things that have been causing them pain based on like negative beliefs or things that they're sort of cellular memory, things that they're storing in their body, which is kind of why I'm picking up like a strong energy of like working with very strong plant medicines or strong herbs to help really shift people out of a certain mental state. I'm also getting homeopath as well, because that often you know, works with people, you know, like it'll take a certain, you know, it would look at a certain profile of someone. Like it'll be like if you have a kind of profile where, you know, you struggle with X, Y, and Z, and that plays out like ABC, then therefore this particular a homeopathic remedy can like counteract that and bring the body back into like homeostasis. So maybe for some of you it's looking into, or you know, becoming a homeopath or using homeopathic remedies in some way. That could be something that you may already be doing, that you may feel very called to it. It may be something that you decide to study in more at some point. Like, yeah, helping people move out of pain, helping people move out of suffering, whether it's in the mental state, this sort of emotional state, physical state, and to be honest, like an interweaving of all of them, really, because again, I'm just getting very strongly that holistic energy of like looking at the whole body, looking at the whole mind, body, spirit system, and how all of those things are impacting each other. So I'm kind of getting a vibe of someone, you know, like I'm also picking up naturopath or something, where like someone comes to you and you take into account like their whole history, all the trauma they've been through, all the suffering they've been through, all the pain they've been through, all the issues they're having now in their life, their physical health issues, but also mental things, also emotional issues, you know, where they might have had a really painful breakup, where they might have had, you know, some kind of intense conflict with someone, you know, issues with, like I'm hearing abandonment wounds, or you know, being in a foster family or something. That's really specific, but you know, it could be working with people with very deep-seated issues, you know, possibly from childhood, even past lives, things like that, and you kind of work to uncover, it's like, you know, that it's coming back to that snake thing of like shedding skin, uncovering something that has been like at the root of it. That's it, getting to the root of something, to help them on their healing journey. You know, with certain things, chronic illness, for example, or certain addictions or phobias, or, you know, certain things that, you know, people have maybe tried going down a traditional path and it hasn't supported them in some way. And, you know, they're still suffering, particularly if they're suffering emotionally, or from an issue that, yeah, they just can't resolve. It's like there's something that you can help them with. There's something here where you can help them clear that out. You can help them get to the root of it. It's like you're not just going to give them a drug, right, or a pill and just be like, there you go, like, well, okay, you've got a headache or something, you keep getting headaches, here, just take this, like, bye. You know, it's like, okay, well, why have you always had headaches since you were kind of 11 years old? Let's get to the bottom of that. Like, what happened when you were 11, or, you know, what was going on in your family system, or like, you know, excuse me, it's like uncovering, like going deep, like uncovering, trying to find the root cause of something. Power one's psychic and intuitive powers. Please tell us, what is power one's psychic? Yes. Oh my gosh, yes. Healer of the ages, exactly. You're definitely a healer. I'm getting as well with this card with the hands. Maybe some of you, this healing that you do is not necessarily through medicinal means, like herbal, you know, remedies, or you know, medicinal like psychotropics or things like that, or, you know, homeopathic remedies or whatever. It may be something more to do with using your hands, like craniosacral therapy. I don't know much about that, but that's just what I'm channeling through, or, you know, holistic massage or Reiki, or something that uses your hands to do some kind of healing, or like sort of just energy healing. It may not be specifically Reiki, but some kind of like energy healing where you sort of hold space. And yeah, I'm kind of seeing also in this card as well, her hands are held up. So yeah, using your hands in some way, but it could be also, like I said, using your hands to make remedies. It's like something that it's like it's connected to you, like your body, your hands intuitively knows what healing the person needs. And it's like you will use your hands either to make some kind of medicine, or to, like, you know, put your hands, you know, around someone, or heal using your hands in some way. But definitely, yeah, you're a healer of the ages. You have this healing ability very naturally within you, or waking up within you. It's very, yeah, again, the crown chakra is highlighted here. It's like very divine healing that you bring through. It's almost like I'm kind of getting it comes through you, not from you. It's like you're kind of this channel. You kind of just open, and the healing, the wisdom, the healing, the spiritual healing kind of comes through you. So it's very much like kind of Reiki energy I'm picking up, that type of thing, like where you're kind of the medium, you're the you're the vessel for that like spiritual energy to come through you. But you know, again, that might be for some of you, and others of you it might be more like using the herbs, you know, using like medical sort of like creating your own remedies or something like that. Get more insight into pile 1 psychic and intuitive powers. Yes, exactly. Alchemic, card number 25. Again, number 7, so much 7 energy here. So alchemic, this is this energy with the Gula, with the mortar and pestle. It's that alchemy of like taking what someone is bringing you, or like creating sort of your own alchemies, your own personal alchemical creations, you know, through breaking down certain plants or certain substances and then turning it into something very healing, or like taking someone's pain, someone's suffering, someone's trauma, someone's like negative energy, and helping them like work through that. And it's almost like, you know, the like psychological process, like a Jungian, or you know, some kind of therapeutic process, where you're helping people kind of take their wounds and then alchemize them into power, take their pain and alchemize it into power. It's very, the power of alchemy. And I feel like with the tortoise here, this is very like ancient energy. So it could be working within some kind of very ancient modality, or just using very ancient wisdom, ancient methods, something like that. But I'm also seeing the third eye highlighted in the middle of the tortoise's back. So yeah, this is very intuitive. So I'm kind of getting very strongly that like your mode of healing, your way of healing people is it's natural to you. It's intuitive to you. It's not really a system or a particular like I'm hearing a particular certifiable modality necessarily. It may be that you've trained in certain certifiable modalities, or you know a lot about certain things in healing, but I feel like the actual healing that you do, the sort of alchemical work you do with people, is something that is just very intuitive. You just sort of channel it, is what I'm getting. It's kind of like you get out of the way and it comes through you. Let's get a Rose Oracle card, another card for file number 1. Ooh, we got 2. So, yes, I love this. Perfect. Release the petals, transformation. Yeah, we spoke about that with the snake. And also possibly some of you being some kind of like transformative coach or healer or counselor, something like that, helping people work through pain and suffering and transform their lives, evolve. So transformation, death and rebirth, shedding as well. We spoke about that with the snake shedding its skin. So yeah, you help people let go of things that aren't serving them, toxicity, addictions, emotions that aren't serving them, pain, suffering, energy, ill health, ill mental health, you know, stagnation, congestion, whatever it might be that's kind of holding them back from evolving into their true selves. You can help them like naturally shed that and like release it and let it all go, and help them go through that process of like change and rebirth. And then we've got morning dew, clarity, a fresh start, and a positive outlook. So it's like you take them from the sort of death process, like being, you know, full of ill health in some way, or struggling with something, whether it's an addiction, whether it's, you know, trauma, whether it's, you know, pain, suffering, some sort of issue that they haven't been able to solve through perhaps traditional means. And you help them go through all of that rebirth, and then come out the other side with a more positive outlook, with a better health, better mindset, better vision of the future, to be able to have a fresh start in some way. So I'm definitely getting like vibes of someone like with the fresh start. It's kind of making me think of people who work with people with some kind of addictions, or some kind of like, like, you know, healing very difficult mental health things or something like that, like really taking people through a deep therapeutic process, and letting go of everything that, you know, has been holding them back, or like old traumas, old conditioning, old stories, old pain, old wounds, go through that alchemy, and then they can have this like fresh start again in life. It's like they can start again. They're not hindered They can go on their path of ascension. They're not held back by, you know, this density, this trauma. So wow, beautiful, beautiful energy. I just love this. Pile number 1, very, very powerful healers. You're very, very powerful healers if you've chosen this. If you would like to stay for the next part of the reading, where we'll be taking a look at how you can step into this power more fully and how you can heal from any blocks that may be holding you back from stepping into this power as a healer, then join me over on Patreon. I will leave the link to that reading below. And thank you so much for letting me read for you. Hit the like button if you enjoyed the reading. Comment below. It really helps me and my channel so much, more than you could ever know. If you don't feel like writing anything, just drop me an emoji. That really helps. Hit the subscribe button if you're not already part of my community. I would love to have you here. All the best with stepping into your intuitive and psychic powers, and I will see you in the next reading. All my love. Bye. Hi there, Pile 2. If you chose the Athena goddess card or the iridescent hematite, then this will be your reading on your psychic or intuitive powers. And in case you missed the intro, just to let you know, this reading is a 2-part reading. So the first part of the reading here on YouTube, we're going to be taking a look at your psychic and intuitive powers and how they may be playing out in your life. And in the extended part of the reading, which will be over on my Patreon as part of my Earth Empress tier, we will be taking a look at how you can step into those powers more fully and healing any blocks that may be preventing you from stepping into those powers. So I will leave the link to the extended portion in the description box below. But let's just start with some channel messages here to begin with. So for Goddess Athena, if you felt drawn to Goddess Athena, Greek goddess of wisdom and knowledge, strategy, and intuition, intuitive powers. Athena is the goddess of intelligence, and this is an intelligence that is a blend of both rational intelligence or logic and all of that, and, you know, being intelligent through diligence and application of the mind and everything, but also intuitive intelligence as symbolized by the owl, which is her sacred animal. The owl is a messenger, right, from the divine. All birds are messages from the divine realm, but the owl in particular is a messenger of intuitive wisdom, of like intuitive guidance. You know, it comes out at night, so it's that kind of idea of like it brings through you know, it's that kind of claircognizant energy, clairvoyant energy. It's like being able to see through the dark, being able to see through illusion, being able to see through where something isn't clear to anyone else, because from like a logical point of view, or from like, you know, just looking at the evidence of something may not be apparent or visible, but it's like you have this extra intelligence, this heightened intelligence, this like heightened sensitivity, this owl-like ability to see through the dark, to be able to like pierce illusion, to see beyond the veil, to see something that hasn't like something that isn't clear, something that is like I'm kind of getting kind of you know, the occult, or kind of like the ability to, you know, understand the feminine mysteries, to understand like the like very divine messages, divine messages that may come through, like, and this may be through like clairvoyance, claircognizance. I definitely kind of get a strong claircognizance vibe for you, Pile 2. For some of you, this intuitive power may play out where like you have always just known things. You don't know really how you know them, but you know things. Like you either know things before they happen, or you just know things about people that you don't know how you know it. It's like, you know, someone that could be a complete stranger, but you just are able to kind of like see through beyond things they're telling you, and you have this sense, this like really strong sixth sense where you can kind of pick things up about them. Like you have this sort of like, yeah, it's like an intelligence energy. It's almost like I'm kind of being shown an image of like a spy, like almost like FBI or something like that, but it's like you're able to get all this intel about someone, but through claircognizance, not through like spying on them or anything like that. It's like you don't need to kind of go and figure something out or like know something, you know, through evidence. It's like you just know it. You just have claircognizance. You have some of you maybe like clairvoyance. You're able to kind of see
things in the future before they happen, but I kind of feel like that's a little bit more pile 3. So some of you definitely pile 2, pile 3. There may be some crossovers, because I kind of get, you know, it's very strong kind of psychic abilities, but I feel like for you, pile 2, it's a lot more around like just wisdom, intelligence, like knowing things, like having a certain knowledge, certain wisdom. This could also play out in terms of skills. Like it might be that you pick things up very easily. It's kind of like, you know, your soul possibly has been here on earth before. You may have had many incarnations, or you also have an ability to kind of like channel knowledge and wisdom through. So I'm kind of getting a vibe of someone who could do like exams really well, or at school or something like that, because it's like you could kind of like tune into the answer. Like you could kind of just sort of know the answer, which sometimes was like really useful, but sometimes like you then couldn't necessarily elucidate how you knew that answer. Like, you know, with certain subjects, right, you have to kind of like, you can't just give the answer, you have to explain why, or like how you came to that answer. And you may have struggled a little bit with that sometimes, because it's like, well, I don't know, like I just know that this is the answer, I just know that that is what this is. Or like, you know, in a maths thing, it's like you knew that, you know, you couldn't show all your workings out, but you just like intuitively knew the answer to something. It's like intuitive wisdom. It's like you have it. I'm just getting this quick access, like you have it at your fingertips. You can like pull through knowledge, you can pull through wisdom, you can pull through answers, you can pull through intelligence, essentially. Yeah, intelligence about something. So you may be very intelligent in both ways. I feel like in both a sort of you know, practical, earthly 3D kind of way. Like you may have done very well at school or academically or in your career path, you know, or in business or something like that. Like you have a lot of strategic intelligence, a lot of like ability to learn really quickly, all of that. Like you can pick up skills really quickly. It's kind of like I'm getting the, is it Neo in the Matrix, where he like downloads the ability to ride a helicopter just before he needs to get on the helicopter to fly away. It's that kind of thing. It's almost like if you need to learn something, boom, you figure it out. I'm getting like autodidact energy, and I'm speaking very, very fast as I'm channeling this, which is very opposite energy to when I was doing pile 1. It was a lot slower. I spoke very slowly and I had a lot of gaps and pauses, whereas the energy coming through from you guys is super fast. It's like lightning speed intelligence. Like picking up your energy is like your mind processes things very quickly. Like it's like lightning speed is what I'm saying. Like I'm also getting strong mercurial energy coming through, like strong communication skills, or like the ability to just get information very quickly. That's that Mercury energy. It's like you can get answers very quickly, you can get information quickly, you can research really well, or you gather information really easily. Again, both like on a practical level, but also in a sort of intuitive intelligence, like a cosmic intelligence kind of way. It's like you kind of blend both of those. That is very Athena energy. She is both that power of being able to kind of operate on a physical realm, and kind of, you know, she helped a lot of the gods with like warfare and strategy and things like that. And she was also a goddess of craft, so it's like, you know, using your hands in a way as well, like intelligence in terms of practical application, figuring things out, making things work, making things, you know. It's like you may just be, again, it's that autodidact vibe of like you can teach yourself anything, you can learn anything. You can, like, it's like I'm hearing that Marie Forleo, like everything is figure outable, like anything that you need to know, you figure it out. I'm getting like Matilda vibes, the Roald Dahl book Matilda, you know, some of you may have read that a lot growing up or something. I love that book. You know, so you kind of would take yourself off to the library and you would just like read loads, or you would learn things, you would figure out how to do stuff. Maybe for some of you, you might have been a little bit like Matilda in that you were left to your own devices quite a lot. Athena is a very independent goddess. She's not one of the love goddesses. So it's that independent energy I'm getting from you. It's like you don't really need to have someone else around you to like validate your knowledge. Excuse me. You don't really need to. It's almost like you probably maybe went to college, university, things like that, but it's almost like you could have just learned things on your own. Like it's that Matilda thing of like you could just kind of download intelligence yourself. You don't need to actually go and learn things through a formal institution, though you may have, and you probably did really well at that if you did. But it's like you have access to this like cosmic intelligence, and you have access to, like, your brain works really fast, you're able to get information really easily, intelligence really easily, you pick things up really easily. So it's like you almost could it's kind of genius vibes essentially. I'm also getting shown the film, oh my gosh, Matt Damon was in it. He came out in like the early 90s or late 90s. He's like he's like a genius mathematician. Totally forgotten the name of it. Someone will know. And like he's a cleaner at a university because he can't afford at like Harvard or something, and then he works out some maths on the blackboard, and then like the university are like, oh my god, like who figured this out? And I kind of get that vibe from you. It's like almost like you are super smart, but you maybe like that character, Matt Damon's character in that film, like maybe you didn't necessarily have the privilege of going to formal learning, but it's kind of like what I'm getting through is like you don't need that because it's like you already know things. And again, it's kind of like you don't really know how you know, you just know, you're just kind of genius level. Yeah, both in terms of like certain subjects or understanding certain things, rational knowledge, you know, learning things, that kind of like left brain knowledge, but also that kind of right brain, creative, intuitive, cosmic intelligence as well. It's like a beautiful blend. So I think those are all the channeled messages that are coming through as I'm tuning into your energy. I feel like iridescent hematite might be a crystal that you may want to work with. It's very good for opening up like intuitive pathways, to working with to working with like psychic powers, to working with intuitive powers, to working with accessing like higher, what I'm getting is like accessing like higher realms of intelligence, or like higher, like getting more illumination. See how it's all, yeah, like it's like its name, it's iridescent, it's sparkly, it brings light to something, but it's like kind of a dark crystal. It's quite heavy energy, so it's like bringing light, bringing illumination, bringing this sort of iridescence, this like wisdom and knowledge and higher illumination is what I keep getting, higher illumination to a situation. So this particular crystal may be helpful for some of you if you're wanting to kind of heighten this, like I'm hearing heighten your intuitive perception, your perceptive abilities, and discernment as well. There's something around discernment coming through, being able to discern between like what is divine wisdom and what is like, well, what is divine wisdom and what isn't, essentially. Like what is cosmic intelligence that you can share and that will help someone or some situation, versus like picking up, I don't know, whether it's like other entities or picking up fears from someone, or kind of like incorrect information or something like that. There's something around kind of being discerning, knowing how to kind of discern and illuminate. Again, it's that owl energy of being able to see through the dark, like pierce the darkness, like bring light to a situation. So let's have a look at look at some more cards. Tell us about part 2, psychic and intuitive powers. Ooh, the preserver. Oh, I like this. Yes. I'm just seeing with this like kind of library behind this figure with all the books, and then we've got the raven on his shoulder with the key, like the key to knowledge, the key to wisdom, and we've got a lot of books here as well. Something about preserving knowledge, preserving wisdom, and she's writing as well. Maybe some of you are writers, or you love books or reading or knowledge, learning things, preserving important wisdom. Let's have a look. I'm going to read the book for this one. Preserver, card number 25. It's interesting how like they look, both these figures look quite similar actually, which is quite interesting. Kind of the fair hair, fair short hair, quite angular features, clear eyes. Maybe you have blonde hair or fair hair or something. Doesn't have to be, but that's just coming through. 25, the preserver, safeguarding, responsibility, conservation, and precision. She passes the item between her hands, taking in each dent and imperfection. The objects she finds most fascinating are those that have their own history, a pattern of time that speaks of the previous hands that held them. So history could be something like historical knowledge, wisdom about history or patterns or something like that. Could be maybe archaeology with the like items, preserving items from the past. That type of thing could be something that's very interesting to you or something you've learned about. The preserver represents the act of safeguarding things that are important to us. Like all cards, even this one reveals a double-edged sword. Taken to the extreme, the act of preserving can hinder our growth, but similarly, the careful conservation of the things we hold dearest can remind us of how and why we got here. So, about the witch, Minerva, oh my gosh, Minerva Stroika Korzeniewska. Minerva is the Roman name for goddess Athena. That's so interesting. Lived in Poland in the 20th century. She was a museum intern when Warsaw was bombed in 1938. Together with director Lorenz and a few colleagues, she stayed in the city, helping to secure a large number of artifacts that would have otherwise been destroyed by the Nazi ransacking. So yeah, maybe there's something around like, yeah, you might be very interested in artifacts, history, the past, archaeology, museums. Like you might love like, yeah, kind of studying like groups of civilizations in the past, that kind of thing. Learning about cultures, anthropology, I'm getting archaeology, preserving knowledge, like old books or old wisdom, old texts. Yeah, something along those lines could be a it may not be something you work in, it just may be something that you're very interested in and something that you have a lot of skill with, something that you have a lot of like intuitive powers around, you know, maybe unearthing things like, or unearthing wisdom, unearthing knowledge, preserving knowledge, preserving wisdom, connecting with the wisdom of like civilizations or cultures from the past or something, maybe mythology, religious studies, that kind of thing. Like maybe reading a lot of like old texts or like significant, you know, kind of books by like prolific spiritual leaders or something kind of like that. I'm getting very interesting energy. Let's have a look at, let's get some energy cards. So Goddess Athena, can we get more insight into Pile 2, psychic and intuitive powers? Ooh. Indecision, card number 8. Okay, so cross unknown. I feel like something that you may help people with, or a power that you have, is helping people when they come to a crossroads, or like weigh up decisions, weigh up like, should I go that path or this path or that path? Like maybe I see someone kind of helping, you know, if you've had friends or family members or, you know, colleagues or something like that who reached a certain crossroads, or they're struggling with a decision, or like deciding on a path or something like that. It's like you're able to, because you have that clear cognizance and that connection with the divine and that ability to kind of like see ahead and like understand things, like understand what path might be right for someone, or receive wisdom, you know, when they're in the dark. Again, it's that owl thing, being able to sort of see in the dark, see something ahead. Like it's like you can kind of look at either path and be like, okay, this is what is going to be down the line if you kind of go down this path or that path. Like you can help people who are at a crossroads with something. Very Hecate energy, Goddess Hecate. And with the number 8 here, 8 is about like we're in an 8-year in numerology at the moment, 2024, which is all about abundance and manifestation and expansion and all of that. So it could be that helping people out of indecision, like using your knowledge and your gifts and your psychic powers, your clear cognizance, to help people at a crossroads, or help people make decisions on something, or come out of indecision, is something that brings you a lot of abundance. This could look like, you know, on a practical level, doing something like being a careers counselor, or kind of something like that, maybe working with young people to help them decide their path, or people who are going through a transition, helping them work out what is best. Or it could even just it could be something that you just do very naturally, very intuitively. Like I said, I picked up on someone who your friends come to you, people come to you, like you're the person who they'll go to talk through if they're feeling indecisive about something or they're not sure. It's like they know that they can turn to you and you will have that wisdom that you can give them. You will have a clearer view. It's like you have like a bird's eye view, like you can understand things that they can't see for themselves yet. Tell me about power 2, psychic and intuitive powers. Woo. Guide, yes, exactly. Card number 18. This is very Hecate energy. Being a guide, being like someone who can this person's got their eyes closed, so it's like you can tune in to your intuition. You don't need to see something. Like I said, like you've got that inner wisdom, that like knowledge just intuitively. So it's like you don't need to see evidence on the outside of how something's going to play out, or you know, or like what path someone should take, or how something's going to play out or something. It's like you can guide them. You can guide them on their path. You can guide them when they're at a crossroads. You can guide them through transition. You can guide them through a situation, because you can see, or you can sense, you can feel, you can just know. You just know what is kind of the way through for someone, is what I'm getting. Very beautiful energy. Let's just check that's all. Whoops, let's move these up a bit. Okay, let's just get another one. Pile number 2. What are pile 2 psychic and intuitive powers? What are pile 2 psychic? Oh, and abused. Okay, card number 14. Interesting. The preserver and the abused. Knowledge. Yeah, for some of you, one of your powers may be to use your wisdom, use your knowledge, use your use your wisdom, your knowledge, your intelligence to help people who have gone through some kind of abuse. It's like emotional intelligence is what I'm getting in this case. For some of you, it's being kind of more of a guide and being more like a psychic guide, like using your psychic senses, using your like clear cognizance, your clairvoyance, that kind of thing, clairsentience, to kind of like help guide and steer people out of like transition or indecision or something like that. For others of you, this is perhaps more using an emotional intelligence, which is something that I didn't really speak about very much when I was talking about the types of intelligence that Athena embodies, but certainly emotional intelligence, like high emotional IQ is what I'm getting. And I'm kind of seeing that as a result of, particularly if you identify as a sort of a Matilda type child, where you might have had to grow up to look after yourself very young. And so you developed a sort of like a very high level of emotional intelligence, because maybe the people around you weren't particularly supportive or emotionally intelligent, so you kind of had to be that person for like your siblings or for yourself, or you just sort of have a higher than average emotional intelligence. And I feel like that is something, that knowledge and that wisdom and that understanding, that heightened emotional intelligence is, and like connection to be able to like other people's guides, to help them heal from abuse as well, as kind of what I'm getting. It's like using that ability to be able to see clearly for someone what might be the best like healing for them. Or so it could be that you do something like this, like kind of a tarot type thing, but in a sort of very therapeutic way. Or you could do you could even be like a traditional counselor, or do something, you know, where you work with people who've been abused, and you sort of combine both your logic and what you've learned and what you've trained in and what you've studied, and that sort of like rational knowledge with a very high like emotional intelligence and a kind of clairsentience and ability to kind of like connect with the person's higher self and like with their guides, and kind of bring through the exact wisdom, the exact like healing words or sort of support that they need to heal from this abuse. So yeah, very powerful energy. Pile number 2, I'm kind of getting possibly therapist or something like that. Okay, let's get the Rose Oracle card. So the Breathing Rose. Yes, heart healing, emotions, connection, time eases. Yeah, this is very like being a guide, being like a healer, being a support system for someone, helping them work through their emotions. So I'm kind of seeing like counselor vibe now. Yeah, again, using your emotional intelligence, using your wisdom, your intuition, your ability to like connect them with that person's like higher self, or with their guides, with their angels, with their support team, to kind of help them heal, maybe from heartbreak or from abuse or from something that's emotionally happened to them. I'm hearing like grief or like any kind of pain, really. Yeah, time eases. I'm just kind of getting like someone who's just very wise, just wise woman, wise sage, wise energy. You know, being the type of person that other people can go to when they're struggling, when they're at a transition, they're vulnerable, they're going through a breakup, or they're going through a big career change, or any kind of big life thing like divorce, or you know, they're leaving school and going to university, any big transitions, or going through motherhood or anything. It's like it's just, yeah, the owl, that wisdom. It's like you have a lot of wisdom, you have a lot of intuitive knowledge, a high level of emotional intelligence, and it could play out in a number of different ways. Like I said, I'm kind of picking up different vibes. Some of you might be like, you might do this through writing, through sharing your wisdom through books. Maybe you write books about these kind of subjects. For others of you, you may be like a guide, like you may do something like this, like being like a tarot reader, or you know, you are someone that people can go to get like possibly divination, but I'm not seeing it so much as like divinating into the future, which again is kind of picking up on pile 3 energies. I feel like it's more like helping them navigate a struggle that they're facing, or navigate something that they're going through, navigate indecision, navigate heartbreak, navigate healing from abuse, something like that. So it could be doing it through something like, you know, astrology, like tarot, through. So there's that side of things, but then it could be also being like a counselor, a therapist, a support person, you know, like I'm seeing kind of school counselor, or, you know, someone who supports people through like a relationship coach, or like someone who supports people through, yeah, like heart healing, heartbreak, abuse, again, kind of strong therapy type vibes. I'm also just noticing like the skull and the butterfly here. So the skull being symbolic of death and rebirth, essentially, like for those of you that know tarot, the death and rebirth card in tarot. And also the butterfly is symbolic of transformation. So yeah, transformational life coach, or transformational healer, or something like that. It's kind of like using your wisdom, using your intelligence, using your connection with the divine, with that, and like cosmic intelligence, or with guides, with you know, the goddess, with whoever or whatever it is that you connect with just the universe, your own higher self, your own higher wisdom. It's like you just have access to this wisdom to be able to help people through any situation, I feel like. To help people transform, to help people recover from abuse, to help people heal, to help people go through transition, big crossroads, you know, in their lives. Particularly young people, I feel like, but it doesn't have to be. It could literally be anyone, but I'm kind of getting a vibe of young people. And I also definitely get a vibe with the number 8, that this is something that you could potentially, this is a talent or a natural gift that you could monetize if you don't already, or like you could receive a lot of abundance doing this once you're fully stepped into this power, if you're not already. So yeah, those are all the messages about your psychic and intuitive powers. If you feel called to join me in the extended, I'll leave the link below. We'll be taking a look at how you can step into these powers more fully and heal any blocks that are preventing you from stepping into them. So I'll leave the link to the extended reading below. But if I'm leaving you here, thank you so much for letting me read for you today. I really appreciate each and every one of you who has been liking my videos and commenting. Even if you just comment an emoji, it helps me so much, more than you could ever know. Hit the subscribe button if you're not already part of my community. I would love to have you here. All the best with stepping into your powers, and I will see you in the next reading. All my love. Bye. Hi there, pile number 3. If you chose Goddess Skuld, card number 46 with the future, this will be, or the blue banded agate. This will be your reading on your psychic or intuitive powers. And in case you missed the intro, just to let you know that this reading I'm doing in 2 parts. So the first part here on YouTube is we're going to be taking a look at your psychic and intuitive gifts or powers and how they may be playing out in your life. And then in the second part of the reading over on my Patreon in the Earth Empress tier, I will be taking a look at how you can step into those powers more fully and healing any blocks that may be preventing you from stepping into your powers fully. So I will leave the link to the extended in the description box below for those of you that feel called to join me for the extended after this. So I'm going to begin with, I haven't pre-pulled any oracle cards for this reading today. I am going to start with some channeled messages that came through with this Goddess Skuld card, and then we'll pull a few different oracle cards from a few different decks I've got here. And then in the extended reading, we'll be taking a look at the tarot and also some additional oracle cards and a Crystal Mandala healing card to complete the reading. So let's start with the channeled messages. So if you felt very drawn to Goddess Skuld, I feel like your intuitive powers or your psychic powers are related to seeing into the future. We can see her third eye is very strongly highlighted here on this card, and there's all this gold coming out of it. So I kind of feel like your intuition is golden is what I'm hearing. It's also something that could bring you a lot of abundance, like material or financial abundance. It could, like, it's kind of like everything you touch turns to gold. It's that kind of like Midas energy. It's like you have such strong predictive abilities, or such strong like abilities to see into the future or to see people's destinies, because also Goddess Skuld is a goddess, one of the 3 Norns, or the 3 fates in Norse mythology, and she helps with her 2 sisters, she helps to weave the destiny of every mortal. There's many myths that include, you know, for those of you that have been following my blog posts about the goddesses for a while, you'll know that for many goddesses there's a tradition or an association with weaving, and particularly with weaving fate, and it's that very feminine power of using those kind of gifts of like weaving, of connecting with like kind of magical intent, sort of doing some kind of like I'm kind of getting like witchy rituals or magical intentions, or like weaving, like basket weaving or threads or something, some kind of spinning thread or something where you're able to like go into kind of a trance or go into like a connection with the cosmos, and you're able to kind of receive wisdom, receive insight, receive guidance into like see into the future, receive like kind of clairvoyant visions. Or you might have been someone who excuse me, I'm hearing like even as a child, like you got a lot of visions. I feel like your primary clair gift or primary sort of psychic gift is clairvoyance, like being able to see into the future. Maybe for many of you, you could prophesy for people. You would get dreams or insights or visions, just almost spontaneously. You would kind of know what was going to happen before it happened. You might have been the kind of, like, I'm kind of hearing like precocious child. And then that's what I'm channeling through from your guides. So I hope you don't mean that and I'm thinking you're precocious. I'm not saying that. I just mean like it was like kind of something that maybe the adults around you saw you as a bit precocious, because you could like predict things that they were like, what, child? Like that's not going to happen. And then it would. And they would be like, oh my gosh, like this kid knows stuff. Or like, how did they know that was going to happen? I can't quite tune into whether this is something that was necessarily, I guess we'll get into that in the second portion of the reading, the extended portion, to see if this was something that then got blocked. Like maybe for some of you, it might have been supported or just kind of humored. And for others of you, it may have been suppressed or blocked. They may have, particularly if you grew up in a Christian environment or a religious environment, it might have been like, that's a like devilish trait. Like you can't, you're not meant to kind of divinate, or you're not meant to predict things, or you're not meant to have these visions, like how do you know this? Like it must be coming from you know, a source that's not good. And so for some of you, it may have been suppressed, but either way, it's something that's very natural to you, and it's something that you may well have had a gift. You may have had this power, this psychic power, this ability to see into the future and to like receive visions, receive like sort of prophetic dreams. I'm kind of getting someone who like they could sense before like someone was going to die, or like they sensed before, you know, like an earthquake or something like that was going to happen. It's like you just knew things before they were going to happen. You could see things before they were going to happen. You could see people's destinies, people's futures, without necessarily knowing how, like where it was coming from. Like maybe this was a gift that, particularly as a child, if it wasn't, you know, you weren't in an environment where other people could kind of support that psychic development, you might have felt quite overwhelmed with why, like, how come I can just see all this stuff about people? How come I just know what's going to happen in the future? So it may have been quite scary and frightening, I'm kind of seeing, but it's definitely something, they're bringing me back to like, excuse me, this is something that if you don't already use this gift in some way, like if you're not already doing something like this, like tarot or divination, or giving sort of support or guidance, prophecies for people, you know, supporting them with their destinies, or like supporting people with intention setting, could even be like manifesting as well, like supporting people like through coaching, being like a manifestation coach, setting intentions, helping them step into their destiny, being like a life coach or some kind of something along those lines, like helping them to envisage their future, helping them to imagine their future, like to kind of envisage a better future for themselves, that kind of thing. It's something that you can, it's something that it can bring you abundance, doing this type of work. If you're not already doing it, or if you're not fully stepped into it, it's something that can bring a lot of like a golden future for you, is what I'm hearing. So those are the channel messages. Let's just get straight into the oracle cards. I'm going to start with Compendium of Witches. So Spirit, whoa, that came out fast. Ooh, the Storyteller, card number 18. Interesting, because we've also got a lot of blue energy in this card, and the crystal that I felt called to include is this blue banded agate, which is connected with the throat chakra, which is all about expression and authenticity and expressing your truth, expressing your true self, living with integrity, living in a way that's authentic to you, expressing yourself, expressing your creativity. So yeah, the Storyteller being here with those energies, this could also be saying like, yeah, you have a gift of storytelling, you have a gift of creative expression in some way. It could be also that like your stories or your creativity, the things that come through to you could be very psychic. Like you could receive, it's almost like you have a very strong connection with your muse. You received that, like the insight, or you received the kind of inspiration kind of directly from kind of the divine, or from your intuitive gift. It's like you just kind of know, I'm kind of hearing like, you know, the story kind of writes itself. It's like you know what's going to happen. Both this could be in terms of things like writing a novel or writing something imaginative, like using your imagination to create a world or create a story, but also in terms of like, I'm seeing it as well for someone who's maybe feeling called to work with the future for other people. It's kind of like working with creating a new story for them, like helping them to create a new story for themselves, like helping to rewrite the old story to a new story for their future, so they can envisage a better future for themselves. So that's kind of like, again, like sort of transformational life coach, or like could even be therapist. You know, that is sometimes a process within therapy to kind of like rewrite your story, right? Or counseling or something like that. So this could be something, yeah, it's sort of a gift that you support other people with, because it's kind of like, again, coming back to that destiny. It's like you can sort of see into the future. You can see what is most aligned for someone. You can see what their true destiny is, or what is in alignment with their higher destiny or something. So you can help them kind of like recreate and re-envisage and realign with like that true destiny, like sort of tell a new story. Let's just get one more. Give us more guidance on what pile 3's psychic and intuitive powers are. Ooh, we've got, okay, the Shaman, card number 16. So yeah, some of you may have a really strong connection with like shamanic culture, or it's interesting they've both got drums actually here with the sort of little symbols on them. So yeah, shamanic drumming could be something. Maybe that's a technique that you use to help people connect with their future, or it's a technique that you use to help you connect in with your third eye or with your intuition, with your ability to see the future. You know, a lot of like shamanic people, it's kind of like shamanic journeying. Like they can use the drumming and they can go into trance, and then they can like, you know, receive visions. They receive prophetic visions. They receive insight, like guidance from like, you know, beyond the veil to kind of help their client or whatever. So yeah, shamanic healing, shamanic journeying, shamanic wisdom, being able to she's got the antlers here, which are like a connection with, antlers symbolize it like a connection with the divine, being able to like channel information down from the divine. And we've got the moon here, which is symbolic of the feminine, of like connecting with that sense of like illumination in the dark. Excuse me. We've also got ruins here and the memory. Again, I'm kind of getting a vibe of like potentially someone who does something, some kind of therapy or something. We've got a lot of therapists here. So Pile 2 had a lot around therapy as well. Pile 2 and Pile 3 might have some crossovers. So if you felt called to Pile 2 as well, then different energy, but definitely some overlaps with some things. Both very strong kind of third eye chakra, both with like a lot of the clear gifts, like clear cognizance. Pile 2 I felt like is more of a clear cognizance, and a like intelligence, but also an emotional intelligence. With Pile 3 I feel this is more clairvoyance and like prophecy and destiny and understanding people's like, yeah, like how to align people powerfully with their destiny, like get them back on the path, or like kind of help shift them out of like the ruins of the past, like shift them from something that didn't work out. Like I'm kind of seeing this as like a tower, like a crumbled tower, and the memory, like this is kind of like again kind of therapy vibes, like helping people with like painful memories, even past life memories. It could be doing something like past life regression, hypnosis, something like that, to kind of like again retell their story, like rewrite. It's like like I'm seeing like recoding their brain or rewriting the story in their brain so that it's not repeating the past, and it's not kind of constantly kind of aligning with the same patterns, kind of like trauma, codependency patterns, abuse patterns, whatever it might be, certain mental health patterns, negative self-belief, whatever it is. It's kind of like helping them re-envisage a better future, let go of memories of the past and tell a new story. I'm kind of like, I'm seeing like leave the past in the past, and then like let go of memories that are like you know, this figure looks very haunted, like let go of memories that are haunting them. And again, it could be very deep with the shamanic thing. This could be very, very deep cellular memories, like past life memories, ancestral memories, things like that, that are like, you know, deeper than perhaps a traditional therapeutic model would be able to tackle. Though it may be that you're trained in both, or you're interested in both, or you can do a blend of kind of both, say traditional, like a traditional therapy, traditional talk therapy, or a traditional counseling model that like gets the client to work on retelling a better story for themselves. But also you might weave in, there's the weaving. I was talking about weaving before, something to do with weaving, but it's like on a kind of more metaphorically rather than literally, weaving in shamanic techniques, weaving in like shamanic journeying, or trance work, or meditation, or like connecting with someone's guides through some kind of shamanic technique that helps. It's like you're then able to get the healing or the wisdom to help kind of shift out painful memories, particularly again ancestral, deep buried, or past life memories. You know, with that ruins, this looks like something very old, right? It looks like kind of from a past era. Like it kind of looks like something in Britain, you know, like, or Europe, or something like an old castle. So it's kind of like memories of some kind of past trauma that is still haunting people still haunting your clients, or still haunting the people that you're meant to work with in their current lifetime, and you're able to kind of help shift that so that they can focus on a new future. They can focus on their destiny. They can focus on aligning with that and aligning with their truth, with the throat chakra there, their authenticity, their power, express their true selves, because it's like this has kind of hijacked them. It's like it's haunting them, it's possessing them, kind of thing. Very interesting, very powerful energy, part number 3, and not at all what I thought this reading was going to really be like. Initially, I thought when I first before I started kind of channeling your energy, when I first saw the future card, I kind of just instantly made the assumption that it was like, oh, it's just kind of like, you know, maybe crystal balls scrying or tea leaf scrying or something, kind of looking into just, you know, maybe people coming to you. And it could be that you're doing things like divination and readings for people, like people come to you to help them, you know, like for you to use your psychic gifts to help them see the future. It could be that, but I kind of feel like it's deeper than that. It might be that you start out doing something like that, or you could do that and that's quite natural to you, but really it's kind of this deeper work of really helping shift the story somehow, helping shift people's story they're telling themselves, helping helping. It's like you have a strong connection with the antlers, with their guides, with your guides, with like the other realms. You can bring through the medicine, you can bring through the healing, you can bring through the guidance that's needed to help them kind of shift out of something that's like haunting them, and help them align with a better future. So let's get some more. Can you tell us about Goddess Skuld? Can you tell us about pile 2? Sorry, pile 3. Interesting, I just said pile 2. Again, you might be drawn to pile 2. There may be some messages. For some of you, if you felt called to that, it could be that there's messages there as well. Card number 23 was all tied up. Yeah, helping people get out of like some situation where like they're trapped in something, they're bound, they're again, it could be like helping people shift through codependency, or helping people shift through attachment issues, or just limiting self-beliefs. You know, this is making me think of the 8 of Swords in tarot. For those of you that know tarot, it's kind of like you know, where she could break out of this, but it's kind of like it's not necessarily even someone else is holding them back. It's kind of like her own limiting beliefs, her own negative beliefs, her own storytelling, what she's telling herself. Sorry, I'm using her because it looks like a female figure in this card, but you can be any gender. It's not specific to that. But whoever it is that you're working with, it's like they're keeping themselves held back because of what they're telling themselves in their mind about themselves, or what it's like, you know, there's a lot of anxiety, a lot of fear, a lot of terror about, you know, the future. I'm kind of getting a picture now of someone definitely doing counseling or therapy or something, like Jungian therapy or psychotherapy or some form of counseling. Could even be art therapy, or inner child healing or something like that. It's something that's kind of like helping people work through their limiting self-beliefs, helping people work through the story they've been telling about themselves, about their lives, their whole life, like what they're capable of, what, what the world is like. You know, it could be very limiting beliefs about, I'm kind of getting, depression, for example, like working with people who have a very negative belief about the future, because the story they've been telling themselves is like, oh, there's no hope, like there's no way out, this is like, I've got no agency is what I'm hearing. So yeah, it could be helping people to find agency in some way. Let's get another one, just see if these are in the shot. Nope, let's move these up. Beautiful, powerful energy, pile 3, and again, kind of very unexpected. Wow, yeah, I love this. These cards are kind of just all saying the same thing. This card is really kind of just an extension of this all tied up. The Garden and the Gate is like people who are too, a figure who's kind of too afraid to leave the home. They're too afraid to kind of go out into the world and explore. They've got the key to the gate around their neck, but they're not using it to get out. They're staying trapped. They're staying like this, like tied up. They're staying bound. Like their thoughts are making them stay stuck. So this could be like helping people with phobias, or like agoraphobia, for example, or just anxiety about the world, anxiety about kind of coming out into the world, excuse me, because of memories, you know, because of past life memories. It could even be because of childhood memories. You know, I'm kind of getting, like helping people who have had dysfunctional childhood situations, or who haven't been given the agency to become like fully fledged grown-ups, or like feel like they can, like they're empowered to kind of like go out in the world and kind of, you know, live their lives and kind of, you know, step into the future with confidence and kind of envisage a beautiful future for themselves. They're kind of like scared, they're anxious, they're depressed, they have a negative story they're telling themselves, or a lot of negative memories that are holding them back, or fears. I'm seeing what was that film? It was on Netflix with, okay, hold on, I'm gonna look it up. Okay, the film is Carrie Pilby, about an awkward 19-year-old genius who, she basically, most of the show, she's like going to her therapist, and he's kind of helping her kind of come out of her comfort zone and like reconnect with people again, and not just hide in her house and not trust anyone. So, you know, that's kind of what I was reminded of with this card, because she actually her face looks a little bit like, and her kind of curly hair looks a little bit like Carrie Pilby's, and it was like a similar situation of like, you know, it's just safer here, I'm just going to stay at home. And we've got the butterfly here, which is symbolic of transformation. So yeah, I feel like you help people transform, help people to see a better future for themselves. We've got 23 and 30. So for some of you, and also 15, 16, 18, some of you, this could be working with people around those ages, young people, you know, in sort of high school or college years, or in their early 20s and up to 30, kind of with, sort of navigating life, navigating like healing from childhood wounds, or memories, you know, to sort of become, again, that I was talking about becoming a fully fledged adult. So yeah, it's kind of working with young adults, or people in their early 20s or something like that, or up to 30. It may not be, it may be that you do older people as well, but I kind of get more of a vibe of it is sort of perhaps for some of you working with younger people, and helping them gain more confidence in the future, particularly if they've been wounded, or they've gone through something dysfunctional, or they just have a lot of negative self-beliefs, a lot of anxiety, a lot of fear, a lot of some kind of mental health thing, something like that. Let's have a look at this. We'll get the feminine. Get the feminine. Sacred Feminine Oracle card, please. Goddess Skuld for pile 3. Use pile 3s. Psychic and intuitive powers. What are pile 3? Whoa. Oh goodness. Okay, we got, wow, guide. Pile 2 got guide as well. I promise I've thoroughly shuffled the deck in between each pile, but yeah, I kind of felt this energy, to be honest, that you guys are a guide as well. So yeah, shamanic guide, shamanic healer, therapeutic guide, a guide, you know, again, you could do some kind of divination thing, or some kind of like guidance giving, like guidance counselor I'm hearing as well. So again, that's young people, right? Like being a guidance counselor in a school. Some of you may already do that. So you may be already expressing this gift, using that gift in that way. Or you may be doing something like tarot, or like readings, or scrying, or something along those lines, but like giving guidance to others, essentially being a guide for others, helping people to like see their way out, you know, with this kind of road up the mountain. It's like helping people, like creating pathways, like again, yeah, guidance counselor, like a pathway. I think there's like a thing called something related to pathways or something. It might be something in the States, I'm not sure, but for some reason that word is coming through. Pathways, something about pathways, young people, pathways. Maybe that's a scheme or something, I'm not sure. But and grounded. And we've got the horns, the antlers again, the deer antlers.
So yeah, that connection with the divine. We've got the crescent moon again as well. We've got a ladder, which is like always symbolic of ascension, right? Of like of enlightenment, of illumination, of going up a ladder, connecting with the divine. I'm kind of seeing this as like you, like with these antlers, like you have this connection, you have this ability to kind of like, you can kind of disconnect from the current reality, like kind of quickly go up this ladder up to like the divine realms, up to you know, the spiritual realm, and gain the kind of insight and wisdom, and then ground it into the physical, which again is a message that channeled through. It wasn't this card, but it was a similar message with pile 2. So again, a lot of overlaps. You may want to check that out. But yeah, it's just bringing wisdom down, grounding it into the physical. Yeah, grounding any kind of like insight or wisdom, or like that idea of destiny or kind of alignment, or whatever it is that you're kind of seeing for people. It's helping them kind of ground into that, helping them actually bring that into manifestation. So it could be being some kind of manifestation guide, possibly, like, you know, grounding guidance, grounding the ability to manifest something, the ability to manifest and the ability to envisage and then manifest like a better future. So it could be like a manifestation coach, something like that. But yeah, there's something around guidance, counselor, grounding, helping people ground. Also, like, maybe as well, this could be, you know, grounding from anxiety and fear, and kind of like where people are maybe, like, I'm hearing like delusional or something, or like they're not seeing that, like they're fixated on the past, and they're fixated on looking back, you know, to this ruins. They're fixated on something negative, and you're helping them to, like, you know, see, this card is like the opposite of this card. Like, Skuld is focused on the future. She's focused on destiny, on alignment, on, like, you know, where she's going. This card is like the polar opposite to that. It's this like being stuck in the past, being stuck in an old story, being stuck in an old memory, being stuck in trauma. And so you have this power to kind of lift people out of that, help them express with the throat chakra a new story, help them break out of old traumas, old stories, old memories, and ground themselves into the physical. Because often when there's a lot of anxiety and fears and like delusions and all of that kind of stuff, it's like, can be connected to having like a like overstimulated third eye and crown chakra that are working too fast, and the person isn't like grounded. And so it may be that also you help them do grounding techniques, like with this storyteller card, they're out in the forest. So maybe like you work with clients, or you work with animals, you know, you help take people out into nature to help them ground their energy, so that they're like connected with the earth. They feel supported by the earth. They can like root their energy, so they're not stuck up in their head and like with their head kind of spinning around and like fearing and worrying about everything. It's like they can just decompress. They can ground that energy into the earth. So yeah, there's something about like your presence is very grounding, even though you're very like futuristic and like connected with the ethereal realm and very like cosmic. Like you can see this card, there's a lot of light and like ethereal, almost like Aquarius kind of vibes, you know. The sign of Aquarius is very connected with like the future and envisaging like a better future for humanity. And so like you have that kind of cosmic air element kind of vibe. Some of you may be Aquarius, Sun, Moon, Rising, North Node, excuse me, but you're also very grounded. So you could have one of the earth signs in your chart like have a lot of planets in that sign, or be really like kind of Taurus energy I'm picking up, or possibly Virgo, possibly Capricorn, but I'm getting maybe more Taurus or Virgo. Just very grounded, very earth energy. Yeah, very grounding presence, very stabilizing presence for people. it is that kind of therapist sort of vibe where like someone can come into your office and like just your mere presence, you know, it supports them, it grounds them and helps them in some way. So let's finish this portion of the reading with the rose. Wow, that came out fast. The return. Oh my goodness, I love this. Yes, this is why it's fun to do this live, because you can see the synchronicities as they fly out. What was I saying about a new story? Helping your clients or helping people you're meant to work with tell a new story. And we've got the return, a new story. You decide, alignment is coming together. Exactly. It's helping people align with their destiny, with their future, with a better future that's meant for them, with what is actually in alignment for them. You help them get to decide on a better future. You help them tell a new story for their life. So I love that for you, pile number 3. It's such powerful work. I'd be really interested to hear if you feel comfortable commenting below what it is you do. I kind of get more of a vibe with this pile that many of you are somehow already doing this to a certain extent. So not as many of you from this pile may feel called to join me over on the extended, because I kind of feel like most of you are in the process, if you're not already, kind of stepping into doing this in some way. Particularly if you're doing something like being a guidance counselor, or you're already doing like being a guide, like shamanic guide, healer, doing some kind of therapy, or doing some kind of like, you know, future divination type thing for people in some way. Something about, helping people rewrite a new story. If you know that this is a talent of yours, if this is something that people kind of naturally find themselves drawn to you to help support them with, or you know that you have this skill and you don't feel like you've fully stepped into these powers yet, or using them, you feel like maybe there's some block, then feel free to join me over on the extended. I will leave the link below, but if you're leaving me here, that is totally okay. Thank you so much for letting me read for you today. Leave a comment or just even drop me an emoji below. It helps me more than you could ever know. I really appreciate each and every one of you who's been liking, subscribing, sharing, and commenting on my videos. So yeah, hit the like button if it resonated for you. Hit the subscribe button if you're not already part of my community. I would love to have you here. All the best for stepping into your powers if you're not joining me over on the extended, and I will see you in the next reading. All my love. Bye.